Before talking about the book, it's important to explain what is a novel. The novel is a narrative text written in prose, and it differs from conventional short stories in length and breadth. In the novel, in fact, there is more attention to detail in narration, as well as more articulated plot of events. This literary genre has various subgenres that are divided according to the characteristics of each. Amongst these subgenres, we have the adventure novel, the picaresque novel, the historical novel, the psychological novel, the mystery novel, the fantasy novel, the science fiction novel, the horror novel, the socially oriented novel, and the subgenre that we will analyze in this thesis, the romance novel. This subgenre was born around the 1930s as a minor genre. It then received positive responses from critics and became very popular. It also evolved together with the society. Atonement, it's a novel written by Ian McEwan, published in 2001, and arrived in Italy in 2003, edited by Einaudi Editore. The main protagonists are Bryony Tallis, Cecilia Tallis, and Robbie Turner. The plot unfolds around a single event that indelibly marked the lives of these three characters: the rape of Bryony and Cecilia's cousin, Dolores Quincy, also called Lola, by a wealthy family friend, Paul Marshall, a chocolate magnate. From this event, Robbie's life changes completely because he is blamed for this rape by Bryony, who is jealous of the relationship between her sister Cecilia and him. Robbie was later arrested and taken away from the family and Cecilia. From that event, the plot will focus entirely on Bryony's life, intent on atoning for this sin. As for the author, Ian McEwan was born in 1948 in England. He has written many novels, including First Love, Last Rites, with which he debuted as an author in 1975. To write Atonement, McEwan was inspired by the memoir of his father, who served in World War II, the main historical background, along with the Battle of Dunkirk, for the book and for the film. To fully understand the decision of the Tallis family to immediately blame Robbie and to blindly trust the words of an 11-year-old girl without doing the proper investigation, however, one must analyze the social context and the consequent social classes that were existing in the 1930s in London, which went from the lower class up to the aristocrats. Robbie, being part of the lower class, was easily blamed for this reason, and that is also why Paul Marshall, the real perpetrator of this crime, did not suffer any consequences. Again, only to analyze the social context, it's important to mention that there was a law in London that prevented wives from testifying against their husbands in court. And that's the main reason why Paul Marshall and Dolores would eventually marry, to grant him greater protection and absolute immunity on every aspect. As for the film, it was shot in 2006, produced by the Working Title Films, directed by Joe Wright, and distributed by Universal Pictures. In 2008, it received 27 nominations, including 6 nominations for the Oscars, 5 for the Golden Globes, 1 for the Silver Ribbons, 12 for the BAFTAs, and 3 for the European Film Awards. And it won 5 awards. The cast of the film features successful actors and actresses including Keira Knightley as Cecilia Tallis, Saoirse Ronan, Romola Garai, Vanessa Redgrave, all 3 of whom played the role of Bryony Tallis but at 3 different periods of her life, and then James McAvoy as Robbie Turner. The direction of this film was by Joe Wright, born in London on August 25, 1972, making his debut as a writer and director of feature film, including Pride and Prejudice, shot in 2005, earning several awards, including Oscar and BAFTAs. Other important elements that should be mentioned are the location, the soundtrack created by Dario Marianelli, an Italian composer born in Pisa on June 21, 1963, the costume designed by Jacqueline Durran, and the film's overall box office and budget. In Italy alone, Atonement grossed specifically €989,000. In conclusion, the main purpose of this thesis was to always try to bring attention to this too underrated novel and the moral that, like any self-respecting book, has, which is never judge a book by its cover.